The story is told. A Muslim war prisoner braves through excruciating pain and torture for months, almost near to his tragic death. His torturers were almost giving up, but suddenly one of them decides to finish the prisoner off, but prior to that informs the prisoner that they are going to kill him. And then he yells that the pig is ready and it will be buried in the same grave with him. In hearing this, immediately the prisoner spills the beans. Why? Let's look at this topic. Why they don't love pork. Nyama ya nguruwe, nyama ya ngulube, nyama ya nguruwe, inyama ya hagu, elede, parik, njiri, or ngiri, egani. We know that there are millions and perhaps billions of people who dislike pork, and there are other billions that love it and cherish it. For those that dislike pork, is it because of the pig's unhygienic lifestyle? Or this is from their holy books and religions? Sadly, the same billions who do not like pigs or pork or bacon or ham will not be able to answer this question adequately. What is the source of that prohibition of pork, especially in Abrahamic religions? Was it inspired by God or it came from someone? We know that in the New Testament we are told that and Moses was educated in all the learning of the Egyptians, Africans, or melanin-dominant human beings. And he was a man of power in words and deeds. Therefore, when you look at the scripture like Leviticus 11, 7-8, in the Torah, Old Testament of the Christian Bible, it says, and in the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. So this is a problem, very big problem. I think when we go further, you will see that there are products today all over the earth that include a lot of this creature. If Moses learned everything from Hamid and the Vedas, the Bible, the Koran, the Torah copied from Moses, what do we learn from the source that Moses took from? In the Quran, we also find the pig said is unclean. In Surah 2, 173, it says, he has only forbidden to you dead animals, blood, the flesh of swine. That's what it says. This is interesting because the Quran then say, but whoever is forced by necessity, neither desiring it, nor transgressing its limit, there is no sin upon him. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful. So you can see that this is different from the Torah because in the Quran you may eat it. Now, Bantus are always taught to eat totemically. So we are covered. We have no problems. If you are melanin-dominant human being, there are no issues about this as long as you observe totemic taboos and food taboos. But it was Herodotus, the Greek, who claimed that melanin-dominant human beings in Hamid didn't eat pork because it was considered unclean. However, latest studies prove his saying to be wrong. Since ancient Kamitics ate hedgehogs by cooking them in clay, and like their modern Bantu melanin-dominant human beings descendants today, they also ate mice or rats. It's very important. See here they are hunting the hog. Now, when you go to Philo, the first century scholar used in many hermeneutical studies and scholarly works and the guides in biblical and Jewish views, he suggests that this animal, pigs, aren't eaten, the reason being that they are the tastiest of all land animals. Therefore, by not eating, it proves one's faithfulness and a great demonstration in self-restraint. I think a lot of us have never considered this thought before, that a divinity will tell you not to eat it, although it's good for you, so that you can continuously have a psychological hold not to eat it or not to give up. In any case, you are eating it to the body, and the obedience perhaps is of the soul. Let's look at some non-religious reasons why other people abstain from pork. It is quite clear that this is a dead animal. It's one of the most unhygienic animal ever, making it unhealthy for consumption psychologically. And the way they are treated and the way they are raised today, they seem to have the strongest natural immune system, which now has a lot of hormones and other chemicals added to it. And also it has blood and too much fat, as well as other subtle components because of its natural habitat and its natural behavior. There are dietary restrictions, like pigs are scavengers and often ingest parasites. So when you look at these are the numbers of, I counted them, there are almost 12 parasites that are in the hog, in the pig, and therefore you are forced to have a certain way of cooking and preparing, but you are not always safe that you will be always in the clear if you eat this animal. Pigs are known as carriers and intermediate hosts of the tapeworm, Taenia solium. The parasite Echinococcus granulosis can cause tumors in the liver, in the lungs, and the other parts of the body. Here are the foods that you unknowingly may consume, and they contain something from pigs. The records, the phonographs, the bone you buy in China, the bone China that you buy, the place, the kitchenware, cookware that you buy from China. This is pork. The violin strings, the porcupine dressings that you have, porcine dressings, the drum heads that you use to play music, football, pigskin footballs, cutting oils that you use in machine shops and in tools and in tool making and in foundry work, glycerin for explosives, and antifreeze in your car. These are all components that have got something from a pig. No other animal provides society, our current civilization, with this wide range of products than the hog. Gelatin, toothpaste, Kool-Aid drinks, Doritos, Cheerios, from McDonald's, food, these chewies, gelatin for marshmallows, and photographic films that we use. A lot of the stuff making for chewing gum. If you are eating chewing gum and if you chew chewing gum, rhino for cheese making, gelatin for drug capsules. Drug capsules, they have got this man in there. Fatty acids and glycerin used in matchstick that you use. Industrial lubricants, insulin and ingredients of other medicines. The hog is there. So that's why some people don't love it other than religious. So if you want to say, okay, I want to know and I want to learn this, all you need to do is to find if these products are there. These are the codes. The E-codes here that are used here are for European codes. All these codes indicate that there is the hog in that food that you are eating. Here is the tick of it here. Chalk pie. There is gelatin from pig. So swine products and swine byproducts are also important parts of products such as water filters, insulation, rubber, antifreeze, certain plastics, floor wax, crayons, chalks, adhesives, fertilizers. Lard is fat from pig abdomen and is used in shaving cream, soaps, makeup, baked goods, and other foods. Now, having said that, it is quite clear and understandable that the production of pork has gone through many scientific experimentation. Yes, on the other hand, recently in the United States, they harvested a kidney from a genetically altered pig, and that kidney is working in human beings. So, here's a question. Will you accept the nose from a pig or the heart from a pig to survive and to live? That's why some do not like pigs. But some likes it and worships it because it satisfies them. Let's go to a little bit of the New Testament, because we just want to go further now into the psychology and spirituality of this whole matter. In Matthew 8, verse 31, we read the story where demons begged Jesus not to drive them out. But Jesus drove them, and the legion went into the pigs, and they all went and fell into the ocean and drowned and died. These are specific demons known as legion or the many. The question we want to ask is this story about Jesus original? Is this story about Jesus inspired by a divinity? If it is inspired by a divinity, which is that divinity? Because we have got evidence that Jesus did not originate this story. Matthew and whoever synoptic writer wrote this copied it or heard it from some source. We should going to show that source very shortly. Ancient African wise teachers in the area of the ancient state, Hamit, taught that pigs were once very holy animals, but that the major reason they then became a taboo and considered a homeland for evil, where this story came from, was after the evil spirit of Shatter, whom Egyptologists call Set, reincarnated in the shape of a black pig and punctured the eye of Horesu, so-called Horus. Let's move a little bit deeper. When we consider this story that we've just analyzed, there are two principles, and these principles are inside every person who has a totem, by way of knowing the differentiation between good and the evil spirits. That's the reason for totems, to indicate to you the intentions that are good and the intentions that are evil along your chain, your bloodline, to the first original archetype ancestor shown here. This is important. And a lesson here is that the former, in other words, the good spirits, can be nursed, propitiated, or bargained with, so that benefits might be obtained, while the latter, the evil spirits, remained insatiable and unwilling to be reconciled, and they must be cast out. It is the battle of Horesu and the Shatter that is illustrated here that has a lot to do with the pig and the hog. It is totemic lesson. To the first class, that is the good spirits, both private persons and states erect altars and temples to propitiate and negotiate and bargain and thank these spirits. In that sense, if your totem is not of the hog, you can eat the hog as long as it is organically clean. So the second one, which is the evil spirit represented by the hog, is not worshipped either with prayers or burnt sacrifices, but in their case, you have to perform ceremonies of riddance. Ceremonies of riddance are, of course, magical. But you will do it also, because you cannot cast out evil when you are clean. You have to cast out evil when you have got also an aspect of evil inside you, the purpose of the totem. Because casting out evil spiritually means you become dirty, no matter how you go about it. So you need cleansing. So what is the real source for the Koran, the Torah, the Bible, and the scripture that prohibits pork? We've already shown you. It is the story of the black pig that attacked Horesu in the battles of the throne to rule Hemet. Because whoever controls Hemet, even today, will control the whole earth, either for good or for evil, either for Mahati or for his fate. So it came to the knowledge of Shatter that Ra would consult Horesu, and thus he took upon himself the form of a very huge black pig with tusks. It is then said, fierce was his aspect, long and sharp tassels, and his color was the blackness of the thunder cloud. Savage and evil were his looks, and he struck fear in the hearts of men. So that's the fear of this archetype of evil that today is called Satan or the devil of Mephistopheles or the dragon or whatever term you use. So when we say our ancestors didn't teach about Satan, it is the Satan of Christianity. But they taught about how to handle evil. And there it is. He became a personality that would strike fear in the hearts of men. Not of Horesu, but of men. So it is said that Ra said to Horesu, pray, look at that black swine. So he deceived Ra. And the shatter in the form of the black ball of darkness pierced the eye of Horesu with fire and with his tusks. This is very important. When we deal with how to reverse evil through the ceremony of riddance, you have to know how to use these tusks. You see our doctors in ancient Africa, they use these tusks. Then Shatter aimed a ball of fire at the eye of Horesu. Horesu shouted aloud with the pain of the fire and raged furiously and cried, it is Shatter, and he has smitten me with fire on the eyes. So you see, this is the eye of Ra. Related to the sun, protective powers come from instilling fear of violence. That's the other aspect. And also, the eye of Horesu, related to the moon, protective powers come from deflecting malevolent evils. So these powers are inside us, all of these powers. Whether you're in business, whether you are living a casual life, whether you intend to be successful in any manner, these forces of good and the evil, the spirit of good and evil, Ra and Horesu and the Shatter, they all play a role. But Shatter was no longer there. You see, he has done his job. For he had conveyed himself away, and the black pig was seen no more. And Ra cursed the pig because of Shatter, and they said, let the pig be an abomination to Horesu, son of Ausari. And to this day, men sacrifice the pig when the moon is at the full. To do what? To deflect malevolent forces. And to this day, men sacrifice the pig is at the full because of Shatter, the enemy of Horesu, the mother of Ausari, and because of this reason, swine heads are unclean throughout the land of Hamit, and may never enter the temples and sacrifice to the divinities. So there is a balance there, because the sacrifice when the moon is full is not in the temple, is not on an altar. It is depicted here like that. It is a battle, it is a war, it is in your brain, because your brain is also part of the temple. After his victory and Horesu went up to be judged by the divinities could not decide between him and the Shatter. You see now, that's why it's inside you. There's more to this. Who was the superior ruler? So they couldn't decide. It is said that still today, they contend for the rule of the world. That's why our world has good and evil, has good spirits and evil spirits, has good divinities and evil divinities, has good people and evil people. And when Shatter is destroyed completely, then Ausari shall rise from the underworld to rule again. This is also actually allegorically your battle with your will and your body and your current life. May you be victorious. What does the pig symbolize in African culture? A Makonde girls initiation mask here in Tanzania and Mozambique depicts a bush pig, a symbol of transition. So you cannot do away with it, because this is a symbol of transition, anahumba, pig. The pig totem brings about greed, filthy, fertility, and arrogance. That's the totem on its own. If you don't control it, that's what it will do to you. However, it also has some positive aspects. That evil that we speak of, the pig itself, other than the curse that was put on it by Ra, that it should never be used for anything else, we know that it also represents wealth and the unusual intelligence. One of the main aspects of the totem pig people is that they always keep their attention focused on wealth and making money, which may be a danger if not tempered with a horesu power balance. So if you want to make money, you must understand how to use anahumba, the pig system. Pig totems. Why don't you love pork? Better have a very good informed reason why you shouldn't love pork. Of course, as male and dominant human beings, we can adopt the pig as a spiritual totem, even if it is not our physical totem, so that we can start to make loads of wealth as long as our own totems are at the forefront and we temper everything with a horesu powerball. That's what we need. If you want to learn more as well as contribute in cultural and spiritual congruence so that together we can resolve current and every future challenge, get in touch with us via our email join@marifato.com. We can explore this topic about making money, about anahumba, about the spirit of Ushata, the spirit of Horesu, how to activate these things together. Share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Hamiti Hebrew Ethics, this preacher rabbi, Tumizulu Galkadu Mjakanja Kunkemskan, saying, have a great day. Siabonga, tatenda, enkos, edupe, asante sana.